Music notation. Notation is a system of writing music so that the specific pitches and rhythms can be communicated. Notating pitch with music notation, we can indicate the exact pitches by upward or downward placement of symbols called notes on a staff. Music notation, notating pitch. Okay, so basically these are notes that notate pitch. This is called this is a staff right here. We'll get into that in a minute. But here are some pitches right here from this staff, and it would be those are the three low ones, and here are the three high ones. So this is what a piano really looks like. Here's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, which is here. And then we have these black keys, which are these. And the total of these are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 pitches in what's called an octave, a chromatic octave. It's really 11, and then the 12th one is the same as the first one, an octave below. Okay, so here we are, clefs. There's various clefs, but the two most common clefs we see in music is the treble clef, and generally that's pitches from about here, and they can go all the way up high. And then we have the bass clef, and there's a little bit of overlap. We generally see pitches from about here going down. Okay, there are other clefs, but we're not going to get into that. A keyboard is made up of a grand staff, which is the treble clef and the bass clef put together with this bracket here. And here's all the pitches. Now I don't have a keyboard that is that big, but here they're pointing out middle C, and that's middle C. Okay. Notating rhythm. All right. So when we notate rhythm, we have various types of notes. We have whole notes. A whole note, in general, is going to be 4 beats. It depends on the meter you're in, but a whole note would be 4 beats. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would just play it. 1, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we could change 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now then we have half notes. Okay, so a whole note has 4. Half notes have 2 beats in them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. So then we can divide the half notes into 2, and then we get quarter notes. We can divide each half note into 2 quarter notes. Here is a half note, and there's another one. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can divide that into 8 notes. It would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. And and 8 notes can have these little flags on them, or they can be connected together. And then it goes on. We have 16th notes. That would be like 1E and 1E, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and so it gets more complicated as you go. But the main thing we want to understand is there's whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, 8th notes. Those are most common. 16th notes happen, but less commonly in moderate tempo music. They talk about dotted notes here, like this is the first one right here is a quarter note followed by which equals 2 8th notes. So here's the quarter note. There's the 2 8th notes. The next one has a dotted quarter note. That's like a quarter note plus a half of a quarter note. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. All right. Frequently we get dotted rhythms like all around the mulberry bush, da 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 dee da. ba, 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 ba. Those are types of rhythms that are dotted. Notating silence. Duration of silence is notated by a symbol called a rest. Rests are pauses, and durations correspond to these. Whole rest is basically 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4 of silence. And we have a half rest, which is 1, 2 beats of silence, and then a quarter rest is just 1. That's what that looks like, and an 8th rest and a 16th rest. Now, I'm not expecting you to know how to read music or any of this. This is just purely informational. Notating meter, all right? So we already learned that meter is basically 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, that's 2. And 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the difference between 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is really hard to recognize, okay? But the difference between 2 and 3, or excuse me, 3 and 4 is much more obvious because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like a waltz, which is a dance. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ya, ba, ba, bee, ba, ba. Whereas 4/4 is probably the most common time signature that you run into. Most of your pop songs are in 4/4. So here in the book, it says 2/4 shows that there are 2 beats in the measure, and it's called duple meter, but forget that. And the quarter note gets the beat. In other words, the upper number in the 2/4 is how many beats there are, and the lower number is what gets the beat. The most common one we see is 4/4. So 4/4, also seen as a C, is 4 beats in a measure. The upper number is 4 beats, and what gets the beat is a 4, which is a quarter note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all quarter notes. That's really a common way to write music. Melody. For many of us, music means melody. A melody is a series of single notes that up to a recognizable whole. A melody begins, moves, and ends, and it has direction, shape, and continuity. Harmony refers to how many chords are constructed and how they will follow each other. So chords are usually made up of at least three notes. Okay, here's a note, here's a note, and here's a note, and the three of them together make a chord. And here's another chord. It has a different quality. This chord is major, this chord is minor. Consonance and dissonance. Some chords have been considered to be stable and restful. Others are unstable and tense. The tone combination that is stable is called consonance. And these first 2 chords that I played you, they're consonant. And all these are consonant chords. And this one is not. This one is called a dissonant chord. A tone combination that is unstable is called dissonant. I'm going to move that chord down. And really the dissonance is right here. That's kind of harsh compared to anything we've heard so far, and it always requires some sort of conflict and makes it want to resolve. So here's the chord again. This is going to resolve to here. So dissonant chords are active, and traditionally they may be considered harsh and have expressed pain, grief, and conflict. Practically all familiar melodies are built around a central tone toward which the other tones gravitate and on which the melody usually ends. A piece of music is in the key of C, for example. C is the tonic. Here's C. And here are the notes in the C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So like that. Here are the general chords. those are generally the primary chords that you hear in most popular music. If I had a melody in this key of C, it's coming out of the scale. That's, and it comes out of a scale. A scale is made up of basic pitches of a piece of music that are arranged in the order from low to high, or high to low, which we just did. High to, and now high to low. Wait a minute. Low to high, and then high to low. Tonality. Key then refers to the presence of a central tone or scale or chord within a piece, with all the other tones heard in relationship to them. Another term for key is tonality.